Good morning, Isabel.
Good
How are
morning,
you?
Dee.
Nice to see you again. All right. We got a lot to talk about today. Hi, Adam.
Where is Adam?
He's sitting right here. Hi, Carl. Ooh, from Texas. Thanks for joining. All right. I'm going to take a few minutes here and see if we get more people joining. But we got
James.
All right. We have a lot to talk about today. Hi, James. Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Thank you again to my lovely cohort in crime, Isabel, who's sitting right here next to me. It's nice to have you all joining. Today, I wanted to cover a few things before we get started. Mainly, we'll talk about the new plans that are coming up.
Oh, new plan.
Yep. We'll talk about taxes. And we'll talk about processing fees for large spaces. All right. So let's start first with the two new plans that are coming. Hopefully sometime this week, maybe a little bit later, but they're coming soon. So there will be the free and the starter pack. The free is for both of them. You can only upload scans that have all scans from a 360 spherical camera. So if you have one scan from either a Matterport or a BLK camera, you cannot use those two types of subscriptions. You can, however, transfer spaces that somebody else has scanned or has been uploaded to a different account and transfer those spaces to that account. That would work. With the free plan, it's free. That's why it's called free. And you can host up to one space. With the starter subscription plan, you can host up to 5 spaces. So what happens is if you've got 5 and you're trying to upload to your starter plan, the upload will get stuck and you won't be able to upload until you delete one of the spaces that you're hosting, and then you can upload. You cannot have any collaborators. They're single user only accounts. The free account, your single space can never be public. It has to remain private. Content distribution will only be available in the starter plan, not in the free plan. And content distribution is the automatic uploading to homes.com and realtor.com. You can only write in to support. You can't call or chat with us for those 2 accounts. You cannot purchase a matter pack or floor plans for either account. And Google Street View will only be available to upload to for the starter pack, and it will cost $19.99. And you won't be able to use the face blurring option. So that's about the differences between the starter and the free plans, the 2 new ones. Okay, so here's the kicker. If you already have an account with Matterport right now, you are not eligible for one of those 2 accounts. All right. And they're meant for people who are just starting to use Matterport, who are trying out like the Insta360 or the Ricoh Theta V. And they're not meant for people really who have Matterport cameras and who are scanning using those, because you wouldn't be able to upload them anyway. So those are coming hopefully by the end of this week. And so stay tuned for more information. We will be sending out shortly. Okay, so let's talk about
Wait, can we
large
back
space.
up? So for the starter plan, how much is the starter plan?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's $9.99 a month.
And how do the uploads cost extra money, or are all uploads included?
All uploads are free for those 2 accounts. There's no processing fees. But remember, you can only upload if you've got only 360 scans taken with the 360 spherical camera. So if you have 1 scan in there from your Matterport camera, you can't upload. Right? All right, moving on. Large spaces and processing fees. So this is changing. So for right now, when you upload a large space, which is 101 scans or more, that counts, the processing fee is double for a standard space. So if you have a Pro 2 Lite, instead of 29, it's 58. If you have a regular Pro or Pro 2 camera, it's instead of $19, it's $38. All right. We used to give you count large uploads as one of your free uploads for the month if you had free uploads, right? So if you're using a Matterport Pro and you have, say, a basic level plan, you get 3 free uploads a month. Used to be that a large would count towards one of those 3. Now it's different. Now large spaces no longer count towards your free uploads. Only standard spaces will. For right now, that could change, but that's the new way that we're charging. So if you have a large space, you upload it, you will be charged regardless of how many free uploads you have remaining for that month.
So will I be charged the full 38 or will I be charged 19?
You'll be charged the full 38 and it won't be deducted from the free allotment that you have.
So free allotments are only for standard spaces.
Standard
free
space
allotments can only be used if you have under 100 scans.
For right now, correct. Okay. 100 or less, yes. All right, and remember,
so all large spaces are all either 38 or 58, right? No matter how large they are?
Correct.
Okay.
For right now. This could change in the near future. I don't have any more information at this point, but I would expect that maybe there's changes coming. All right, but I just wanted to explain that because some of you were confused as to why on your last invoice you were charged for your large space processing and it didn't count towards your free allotment, and that's why. Right? If you have any other questions, you can contact us at support@matterport.com. All right.
But shouldn't it be so it's retroactive because this was not announced, so no one was ever told?
That is correct. Sorry.
So shouldn't people have been told before this went into effect?
In an ideal world, yes. So if you have any issues with that, contact us at support@matterport.com. We'll be happy to talk to you and work it out.
All righty.
Okay. All right. Taxes. So some of you have noticed since we've gone to this new account structure that you're now being charged taxes where you weren't being charged before. So people who reside in the United States and pay with US dollars, what happened is that we weren't charging you sales tax prior to last month, and then suddenly we started charging you. The explanation for that is we should have been charging you. We are now doing the right thing by charging you. In any state where we have a presence, we have to charge sales tax in those states. So if you, again, have any questions about how much you're being charged, what the rates are, etc., then send an email in to support@matterport.com and we would be more than happy to help you out to get you the rates that are local for you. But remember, it's going to depend on where you live and what your local laws are, right? So you're going to have city, potentially county, state tax, all that. It's not something that Matterport's making up. It's just the law, and we're just charging sales tax, which we then forward on to the government, right? So
what if my actual address is different from my credit card billing address? What are you charging by? I think on MOUG there was a discussion on people whose credit card is in one place,
right,
but whose business is another place.
So it should be the business address that we have on file. That should be the address that's used to calculate tax. All right. So again, if there's a discrepancy, I think like Hickman had an issue, contact support@matterport.com. We'll get your address straightened out. We'll get all that worked out. You'll just have to bear with us. It'll take us a few cycles to get it right, maybe. Some of you didn't have addresses. There's a whole bunch of different reasons. So just if you think there's something wrong, just contact us. We'll work with you one-on-one to figure out what's going on in your situation. All right. So Laura asks, are providers supposed to charge sales tax too? I don't know. You have to consult somebody legal who knows about finances. I don't know. All right. Tom's moving to Nevada.
Yes, we all are.
I know. All right. So VAT in EMEA is different. So that's also a tax. It's a value-added tax. And some people had some questions about how does that get assessed. So if you're ordering a camera in EMEA, the VAT is charged on the country that the camera is shipped to, if Matterport has a presence in that country. Right? Let's see. So again, if you have questions about VAT tax, contact us at support@matterport.com. We'd be happy to walk through it with you to make sure everything is right. If you don't have an address on file, then we assume you live in the Netherlands because that's where we ship from. And so you will be charged tax based out of the Netherlands. So if that is wrong and you don't have an address on file with us, please contact us and let us know. Okay? Any questions about that? All right, so you can get your current invoice by going to your cloud account, clicking on settings, which is on the top right-hand corner, press on your name, go to settings, and go under billing. You have to be the account owner or the billing contact to see the invoices or anything to do with billing, but you can now go there and change your subscription plan. You can look at invoices, you can buy more cameras, and do all that sort of fun stuff. Remember that if you're changing your subscription service and you're upgrading from month to month or from year to year, so you're upgrading and you're keeping the term, like you're staying with month or you're staying with year, then that upgrade happens immediately. You will then receive an invoice within a day or two for the difference in the cost. If you're downgrading or you're changing from monthly to annual or from annual to monthly, the change will not take effect until the end of your term. All right, so for example, I have a yearly subscription that I purchased 6 months ago. I now cancel my account. My account will now be open and available to me and will not actually be canceled until the end of my term, which will be 6 months from now. Right? So, and if I'm changing from a yearly subscription to a monthly subscription and I'm upgrading or downgrading, that yearly subscription has to run out first before the monthly subscription kicks in. So you go to end of term before the change is made. I know. I'm pretty brave to sit here and tell you guys this, but you know what? I just want you guys to know this information so that you're not out there like confused or you don't feel like we're not trying to communicate with you, because we are. Sometimes the ball does get dropped and I apologize for that, but I'm really, really trying hard to get you guys the information that you need so that you can be as informed as possible.
Is there going to be an email going out? Because many customers are not on Facebook. So
yeah, but they should be.
But this is not advertised as the full information channel. Yeah. And so I think an email needs to go out for customers who may not spend time on Facebook, may not even have a Facebook account.
You're right. And we are trying to make sure we communicate these messages to everybody. So yeah. All right, so also the other thing I need to mention is that if you are using the new Insta360 1X, make sure you have the latest version of firmware on your camera so that it can talk to our capture app. All right, So Laura asks a question. If I scan 2 spaces and ask you to stitch them into 1 space, is that billed as 1 space or 2? You have to upload both spaces and they have to finish processing before we can actually stitch them. So you will be charged for 2 uploads. But you don't get charged for the stitching right now. That part is free, and you'll get a new space and you don't get charged for that for right now. That's a super. We're making a lot of changes. There are a lot of changes, and we're trying to make things better for everybody. So there will be a few bumps in the road while we transition, and we really appreciate your patience with us. We're really trying to work hard to get everything sort of straightened out. So bear with us. And again, contact us anytime. It's support@matterport.com if you want one-on-one help. All right. Do you have anything you want to say, Isabel?
I think a lot of these changes can be proactively announced to customers, maybe by email rather than, or by posting on the website rather than, having people complain and then responding on Facebook, because I think that misses a lot of people and everyone should know it's relevant to everyone. But you're doing the hard work. Thank you, Dee.
Yeah, well, trying, but we did send out some emails ahead of this new accounting structure, and hopefully most of you got that. Actually, if you look at the new invoices, this is another thing. Okay, so if you look at your new invoices, it lists out every possible thing you could potentially get charged for. So, for example, you'll see on there expedited floor plans. Well, most people don't have that feature. But it will list out, it's long. So the invoice is like pages long, and it lists out everything you could potentially get charged for. And then if you don't get charged for it, it's a 0. So don't freak out if you see something on there that you don't even know what it is, or you've never used it, or you won't get charged for it, like Google Street View. If you never upload to Google Street View, you're like, why is that on my invoice? Look to the right to see if you actually got charged for that, because it lists everything. So yeah, so don't get upset if you see all that. All right, so any other questions?
A question from Tom about April tag blurring. So what is I noticed that was not an option when I didn't have April tags, but I noticed before that there was an option, and now that's gone away. So
So what happened was some people upgraded their version of Capture while that feature was turned on. It wasn't supposed to be turned on. So some people can actually see it's not blurring, it's removal of April tags. It's not working. That feature is not ready yet. It's really hard, actually. It's hard to remove the April tag from every single vantage point that you can see it. The engineering team is still working hard on it. They're making progress, and hopefully one day it will be available. But until then, please don't use it. Or if you use it at your own risk, because it may not work exactly correctly. But yeah, that's something we're working on, and it should be pretty cool. I've actually seen instances where it worked, and it's like you can't even tell that there were April tags there. Yeah, so when it works, it's really good.
So can the same technology be used to remove other things, like people? Instead of face blurring, can it be people removal?
Potentially, like they're trying to blur license plates, because I know in EMEA that's a big deal. So those are all things that we're working on. I don't know the technology behind that and how hard it is, but we have some really smart engineers, and I'm sure they're going to figure out some great solution. I have no doubt.
Well, Tom has a good suggestion. Can we use April tags with your portraits, for instance?
No, that wouldn't be good, Tom. People would run. Okay.
So John wanted to know about the trimming of 2 doors that open into each other. So when you have difficulties with doors in the Matterport space, the best thing to do is to go into dollhouse view and look at that door that you can't go through. Most likely you scan with both that door open and closed at the same time. And so there's some unintentional 3D mesh that got caught in the door. And so what you want to do is go back to your Catcher app and put trim markers on both sides of that door, and that gets rid of the unwanted 3D mesh in between. So make sure that the remove arrows are facing each other, and that'll remove the obstruction. And once you re-upload and it reprocesses, hopefully you can then go through. I think there is a support article about that, right?
There is a support article, but it's old and it doesn't, I made a video to show people how to do that because it works best if you have your trim lines surrounding at least 2 scans on either side of the door that have the door open, so that those 2 scans can fill in the mesh in the door area. So you want to surround those 2 scans with trim markings. If you just put the 2 trim markings facing each other right next to the door, things have changed a little bit on how trimming works. So often it won't work, or what will happen is you'll get black right there because it'll just trim all the 3D data. There's nothing filling it in. So you just get a black hole. So you probably don't want that. It's much cleaner if you take a scan on either side of the door with the door open, and then you trim around those 2 scans. I think the issue is a lot of people have instances where you have 2 doors that open into each other. So like if you open this door, it covers the entrance for this other room. Like if you have 2 doors that are really close to each other at 90 degrees to each other, that's tough because trimming, you have to be at least 2 feet away from a door in order to trim it away. So what I suggest you do in that case is scan once with one of the doors open, but stay 2 feet away from that door that's open. And then scan again with the other door open, but 2 feet away from that door that's open. And then you can use some cleverly placed trim markings to hopefully remove those 2 doors. If that just doesn't work, because there's a lot of buildings that just have tight spaces like that, where doors just like interfere with each other. The best way to do it, if you can, is to take the door off the hinges. And I know people have done that. And I know it's like asking a lot, but that's the one way you're guaranteed not to have mesh from the open door. Yeah, I know. But just remember that when you're scanning, if you place the camera at least 2 feet away from the door, the physical door, then you should be able to trim that away, even if it's open and you don't, and there's mesh from that door. So 2 feet. Yeah, remove all the doors from the house before you scan. I can just see it now. I can see people running out there going, well, Dee said I had to take the door off the hinges. Only in the most severe of instances should you do that. Try to get away with not doing that if possible. Hey, Ryan, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. All right, any other questions?
So Al has a question that may need clarification. Being able to rotate and pick direction of each rotation, like 360 snapshots, would be nice.
Oh, are you talking about the highlight reel? Yeah, I assume he's talking about the rotation of the panning direction within a highlight reel. Unfortunately, right now, you can't control that. However, the rule is if you're standing at one scan and you draw a line from your face straight out, look to where the next scan is that you're going to. If it's to the right, it'll pan to the right. If it's to the left of that line, it'll pan to the left. And that's how you can tell which way it'll pan. So, and then again, when I get to that next scan, if it happens to pan right and it's panning too far to the right, I just move my snapshot over a little bit to the left and start there. And then when it rotates just the amount of the angle that I want. All right, so we have a question from Tom about blown out windows. Yeah, we're constantly working on that. It's a really hard problem to solve. We're trying really hard. If you have examples, definitely send them into support@matterport.com so we can send them off to the engineers for examples and they can use it for testing. But yeah, it's something that we're constantly working on, that and color balance and all that other stuff. So send us your examples. We'd love to see them. So the question was panning on the walkthrough. Yeah, so panning is deals with the highlight reel, which is the walkthrough.
So I'm not sure what Al means by having direction difficulties in the walkthrough. In the walkthrough, when you approach a scan point, it just what you see depends on where you stepped in from, I think. So if you approach horizontally, then you would see.
We're confused.
We're confused.
Oh, but he loves us. Oh, okay.
Oh,
We're good.
that's what matters.
That's the only thing that matters. I'd be happy to deal with increased scan time if the Pro 2 could bracket images.
Ooh, an HDR 3D scan.
Okay, I'll pass that information along. Thank you. Nice to know. Yep. Laura loves us too. Aww.
Don't you feel loved?
I love Laura too. I know, I love Laura because she bought me pizza. I love that. All right, what about making a referendum about charging for large scans in the Pro subscription with all Matterport? I can't see the rest.
With all Matterport users. So people are not happy about the.
Yeah, I know. I know. And
I think it would be fair if for the large spaces you were charged the excess $19 or $29, but to say that the free credits are not eligible at all, it doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, I know. And we've heard you, and we're actually talking about changing that. So just hang on. I'm just telling you the way it is today, but that doesn't mean it's going to be that way tomorrow. So we're working on things. We're listening to you guys, and hopefully I will have something new to tell you next week.
All right.
So somebody wants to know how our CEO is doing. He's doing awesome. Actually, I just saw that he's here today. He has agreed to come on to Facebook Live again. I'm just trying to nail down a time. He's just super hard to get some time with, but he will definitely be back, and you will definitely get a chance to talk to him and ask him more of your questions. So yeah, he had a great time last time, and I think it went really well. So the other thing we're also doing is we are starting to do podcasts. So if you are totally bored while you're driving to work, hopefully we'll have some things for you to listen to. So yeah, we're working on that. I did the first one the other week.
Oh, what is it about?
So it was actually a podcast with John Hubbard talking about Gibbet mount. And so that was our pilot, and we are going to wrap that up shortly and hopefully show that to some of the execs here and get some buy-off. But that's the plan, to have podcasts. I'd like to reach out to other people, like a lot of UMSPs would be awesome, like Chris Frazier. We can talk to him about
a video podcast. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I'd like to get Chris Hickman, and I've asked Isabel to do one with me. So yeah, so we've got a lot that we're planning and a lot in the works. In fact, we're going to be talking to Mayanik Jain, and he's the guru on all things OBJ and point cloud. So he's got a wealth of information. In fact, he's planning on joining us on Facebook Live at some point. I think that he has a lot of knowledge that he can share, certainly in an area that I don't know much about. So that'll be pretty cool. All right, what about the app with compatibility with version 3 and for offline use? So the Capture app should work. Oh, I know that, Manuel, you were having some issues. I'm sorry, I will get back to you on that. But the Capture app, the Showcase for iOS, Showcase for iOS app should be working. I still have to test some of your models, and I will get to that shortly. So, yep.
So some clarification about this Showcase app. Does it or does it not communicate with Matterport's platform? Once you download something, if you delete the online version, does the iPad version go away also, or does it stay?
It stays the same. In fact, if you change it in the cloud, it doesn't automatically re-download it. It stays the same as the moment you download it.
And so the online deletions don't affect what's inside the app?
Correct. So if you delete your space from the cloud, it'll still stay on your app.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
There was some confusion about that. The question that often comes up from Dominic, people would like to change the auto-generated videos.
The teaser videos. Yes. The teaser videos are generated by our very smart artificial intelligence program. And unfortunately, we cannot change that. However, you can make your own, or you can call Chris Frazier and he can make them for you. uh, so yeah, we do actually have a really nice help center page that tells you how to create a video. So you can check that out, but I think it's just probably easier just to contact Chris. I don't think he charges that much for creating them. But yeah, sorry, that's not something that we can change for you. Sorry. All right, so looks like we are out of time because Adam has slowly inched his way over here. I did want to give a big shout out to him. He's super awesome. He's my rock. Without Adam, this wouldn't happen. And also, of course, without lovely Isabel, we wouldn't be here. Everybody loves you, Isabel. We thank you so much for all the time and effort you put into doing this and answering all the questions on MOUG. It's crazy that everybody thinks you work at Matterport, which I think is like a great compliment. But you are terrific. You are knowledgeable, and we really, really appreciate you. So thank you. All right, so for next week, we will be here at the same time. I don't know if we will have a guest speaker or not, but we will definitely announce that if we do. Otherwise, plan on seeing Isabel and I, same time, same place next week. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you next week. Bye.